This girl is extremely pitiful. Because she was worried about her boyfriend's career, she went to jail for him for 5 years. But when she got out, her boyfriend turned around and betrayed her. So Yu Young decided to take revenge on him. So what is the reason why this girl blindly believes her boyfriend's words like that? The story must be mentioned. 5 years ago, Yu Young and Do Hoon have been in love for 7 years. During these 7 years, Yu Young has also been trying to earn money and helping her boyfriend study for the civil service exam. Whether it's sunny or rainy, she works hard without complaining. In the morning, she works at the toll booth. In the evening, she drives a rental car. In free time, she came to take care of her lover's parents. Do Hoon's parents also loved her very much. Until the day Do Hoon officially passed the civil service exam and became a prosecutor, his mother turned around and saw a girl without a stable job like Yu Young is completely unsuitable for her prosecutor's son. So she constantly finds new partners for him. But Do Hoon is what he is today, partly thanks to great efforts of Yu Young. When he didn't have money to pay tuition, she took care of him. Even the car Do Hoon drove to work was borrowed from her. So Do Hoon disobeyed his mother. And today, he officially proposed to Yu Young, thinking that all her efforts had paid off. When suddenly their car had an accident. Do Hoon went down to check for a long time. Yu Young worriedly walked down and was pulled back by him. Do Hoon said that they only crashed into a drum. Looking around, it was true. So Yu Young had no doubts. She suggested calling the police, but Do Hoon said that he had drunk a little alcohol, so he would be in trouble. And Yu Young also agreed to listen. Not knowing that they had hit a pregnant girl, Do Hoon also saw that the girl was dying, but because he didn't want trouble, so he ignored her. And that woman's boyfriend, as Min Hyuk, the son of a rich tycoon, saw his wife and children had to leave in pain. Min Hyuk was very heartbroken. He asked the police to find the culprit. The next morning, Yu Young naively took the car for repair. The police also extracted the camera and searched 3 cars passed by the road where the accident occurred. Because Yu Young was the owner of the car, the police came to find her. They asked if Yu Young had had an accident last night. Yu Young admitted and told everything. Because her prosecutor boyfriend had been drinking, she didn't want him to get into trouble. So Yu Young naively admitted that she was the driver. And the prosecutor in charge of this case was Do Hoon. This bad guy lied to Yu Young that he didn't see that girl at all. Do Hoon thought that they had simply crashed into a drum. Yu Young completely believed him. They had been trying together for 7 years. Do Hoon could not lose his prosecutor position because of this. So she decided to plead guilty for Do Hoon with the crime of not intentionally murdering. If reconciles, maybe Yu Young won't have to go to jail. Do Hoon also promised that he will try his best to get Yu Young a light sentence. The next morning, Yu Young still woke up early to help with the bakery with her father. On this side, Do Hoon did not go to find the victim's family to reconcile. He threatened that if Do Hoon didn't do justice fairly, he would make Do Hoon lose his position as prosecutor. Although he feels very sorry for Yu Young, Do Hoon does not want to return to poverty. So he decided to let her take the blame for him. After having enough evidence, the police demanded Yu Young's arrest. Seeing his daughter being taken away by the police, Mr. Wang was extremely surprised and scared. He went to find his son-in-law and knew everything. Mr. Wang tried to collect money everywhere and ran to the victim's mother's house to apologize. He knelt down and asked for forgiveness. But Mrs. Hong could not accept how much pain her was in while lying in the cold rain. Then she wanted the culprit to pay for their wrongdoing. Then, she threw the money back to Yu Young's father. At this time, he was like a lost soul and fell down. Very quickly, Yu Young's trial also took place. On her charges, the prosecutor proposed a 5-year prison sentence for defendant Yu Young, on the charge of murdering pregnant women. The inmates also hated her. So the first night Yu Young was brutally tortured by them. After a health check, the doctor discovered that Yu Young was pregnant. She quickly gave birth to a baby boy in prison. Because she didn't want her prosecutor boyfriend to be infamous, she raised the child on her own, even though it was very difficult. San is her living motivation. Out there after the big shock, Yu Young's father was no longer conscious. He can't take care of himself. Do Hoon still tries to come regularly to take care of him. Today the charity group coming here, and including Do Hoon, He deliberately took a lot of food for Yu Young and did not forget to look at his son because they saw that Yu Young had reformed well and had to raise another child. The prison asked for amnesty, allowed her to be released from prison early, knowing that Min Hyuk was very angry. His lover and son had died unjustly, but the culprit was pardoned after only serving 2 years. So he made an appointment to meet Do-hoon and said that if he voted against, Min Hyuk would promote him to a better position. On the other hand, if he vote in favor, Min Hyuk will make him lose the chair he was sitting in. Very soon the pardon also came. Yu Young urgently apologizes for his wrongdoing. She promised that when she was released from prison, she would find the victim's mother to ask for forgiveness. She would also try to live well to take care of her son and her sick father. But when she returned to prison, the prison guards discovered bruises on her son's body. They suspected she had abused him and took San away. Yu Young was scared and called Do-hoon for help. She didn't know where they were taking San, so she asked him to find her son. On this side, Min Hyuk was very satisfied with Do-hoon's disapproval vote. He also specially gave Do-hoon a nice watch, a gift for the wise he made. Very quickly after 3 years, Yu Young was officially released from prison. Do-hoon also came to pick her up, and Min Hyuk was very angry when he saw their reunion. The first person Yu Young wanted to meet when she got out of prison was San, but what she received was her son's death notice. Do-hoon said that San died due to sepsis and he hid it from her all this time because he didn't want Yu Young to despair. Then Do-hoon took her to visit San, where he released the ashes to say goodbye to the boy. Yu Young now felt like a lost soul. She did not dare to believe this cruel truth. Do-hoon's mother also came to comfort her, on the surface advising Yu Young to try harder, think more positively to live, but behind her back scolds her son to be alert. Don't waste time on a girl with a criminal record. At night, Yu Young buys a cake to go to the river and thinks back the short days with her son. These scenes, Min Hyuk also watched from afar. Since Yu Young went to prison, her father has suffered from dementia. In order to pay for her father's medicine, Yu Young has gone everywhere to find a job. But for someone with a criminal record, this is not easy. While Yu Young was in despair when a phone call came in, they agreed to accept her to work. But the caller was Min Hyuk's assistant. Not only that, Min Hyuk also invited Do-hoon to the party to humiliate the two of them. Today, Min Hyuk went with Se-yoon, the fiancé he was about to marry. Do-hoon also saw Yu Young. Because he didn't want to lose face, he chased Yu Young back. Then Do-hoon went to diplomacy with peace of mind. When Yu Young returned home, a group of creditors came to demand money. Actually, in order to treat her father's illness. Her family was in debt. Even this house was sold. The current homeowner is Min Hyuk. He asked her to move out within 3 days. Knowing that this was the lover of the accident victim, Yu Young did not dare to ask for anything more. In this difficult time, Do-hoon didn't know, but he was busy comforting his old friend, the rich lady Se-yoon. Because she had no relatives or money on hand, Yu Young had to take her father to Do-hoon's house to ask for help. Of course, Do-hoon's mother was extremely upset. As soon as she met Yu Young, she scolded because she originally wanted Do-hoon to cut off his relationship with Yu Young. Luckily, Do-hoon's father said a few words to help her. Today Yu Young visited the victim's mother. This woman immediately poured water on her and chased her away. But Yu Young still bowed her head and asked for forgiveness. Tonight, Yu Young returned home. Do-hoon also helped take care of her father. He still had feelings for Yu Young, so he moved closer to her. This accidentally revealed the burn scar when she was abused in prison. Do-hoon was heartbroken, but Yu Young said that now she no longer feels pain. Do-hoon ran shakily. He put his hand on her wound to comfort her. Then, he went out to drink with his father. He advised them to stop, because if they were together, they would both suffer thinking about their lost child. They would looking at each other and living in sin. The next day Yu Young's father got lost. Do-hoon told her to go to the police, and he would drive to look for him. Finally, Do-hoon found him. Suddenly he said that he knew Yu Young was in prison. Instead of Do-hoon, The person who caused the accident and escaped was Do-hoon. He was afraid that Yoo-young's father would threaten him. So Do-hoon had a bad idea in mind. Yoo-young didn't know anything. So she went to find her father all night. The next day suddenly there was a phone call, and her father was found. Yoo-young ran out and encountered Min Hyuk. It was late, so it was difficult to catch a taxi. Knowing that her father was in trouble, Min Hyuk was kind enough to take her away. When Yoo-young arrived, she only saw her father lying there, his body already cold, his legs covered in blood and bruises. Yoo-young's heart seemed to be choked. Min Hyuk stood there and suddenly saw that this girl was pitiful. Right now, because of being caught up in a lawsuit scandal with Congressman Kim, Do-hoon is on the verge of being fired. Yoo-young's father's funeral quickly took place. The funeral was empty. Only two friends in the same prison with her came. The next day after burying her father, Do-hoon arrived. When Yoo-young needed him the most, he was nowhere to be seen. Maybe she had knew what was important to him. So Yoo-young proposed to break up. She didn't want the two of them to continue tormenting each other anymore. As if untying the knot in his heart, Do-hoon also remained silent. Instead of agreeing, with no relatives or no home, Yoo-young had to go and stay at Hira's house, who had helped her a lot in the prison. Se-yeon has loved Min Hyuk since school, but he only loves Ji-ha. Even though that girl has been dead for many years, Min Hyuk still misses her with all his heart. Se-yeon feels her self-esteem will be hurt if she doesn't have him. She decided to make Min Hyuk suffer. Today she gave Min Hyuk a contract. About the marriage is only in name. The two of them will not have the right to interfere in each other's private lives. Today Yoo-young also discovered that her debts had been transferred to Min Hyuk's name. She rushed to find him to ask questions. Min Hyuk said that he wanted to become a creditor, so that he could easily torture her. Seeing that Yoo-young also left him phone number, she promised that she would pay off Min Hyuk's debt at all costs. Now, Do-hoon doesn't care about Yoo-young anymore. He went to the art office and flirted with Se-yeon. He knew that this was the umbrella of his life, the rich girl who helped him escape from a life of poverty. The next day, Do-hoon officially resigned from his job as a prosecutor. He told his parents that the state salary was too low. He also had to endure all kinds of suffering and torment. He didn't want his parents to have to work hard anymore. After that, he came to apply to be a lawyer, advising Mr. Han, one of the richest tycoon families. Do-hoon took out a stack of documents. This is what he collected during his work. It will help Chairman Han grasp the weaknesses of the opponents he is facing. Seeing this, Mr. Han was extremely pleased, immediately agreed to accept Do-hoon into the company. Min Hyuk from above also saw all of this. He saw that this guy was indeed a thick-skinned guy. Since entering the company, Do-hoon had continuously looked for opportunities to approach Se-yeon. Even though he doesn't love her, Min Hyuk doesn't want her to know a jerk like Do-hoon, so he constantly tries to find ways to separate them. Seeing this, Se-yeon also defends Do-hoon, making Min Hyuk angry and left. Tonight, Do-hoon gave his parents a large sum of money so they could open a store. Do-hoon's parents were also very happy because he was working at a big company. Today on street, Yoo-young accidentally encountered a former prisoner. She was the one who reported that Yoo-young had abused Sun, causing the mother and son to separate. After hearing the news that Sun had died, she was extremely regretful. She only followed orders of a man. He promised to help her get out of prison early and promised to take good care of Sun, so she agreed. Hearing this, Yoo-young immediately thought of Min Hyuk because only him hates her so much. After reviewing old clues, Min Hyuk realized that the night of the accident, Do-hoon and Yoo-young were together, so Min Hyuk sent a gift box to Do-hoon. After seeing that photo, Do-hoon's face also became scared. Even though the case documents said Yoo-young was driving alone, Do-hoon was afraid that there would still be evidence kept missing, so he went to the police station to review the case file, not knowing that all his movements were reported to Min Hyuk by the police. After checking the CCTV, Do-hoon discovered that on the day of the accident, a car passed by and filmed him going out to repair the car. That car belonged to Chairman Han's group. So in the evening when there was no one to mix into the supervision room of the corporation, found a video recording of him driving that day. Do-hoon happily deleted it immediately. On this side, After learning that her son was indirectly killed, Yu Young sympathized with the victim's mother even more. Although not the culprit, she still tried to find a way to ask forgiveness. Yu Young came to work for her every few days. Gradually Ji-ha's mother became less harsh than before. Everything Yu Young did to Min Hyuk watched and saw. Under the pretext of helping Sin with work, Do-hoon went to her private office. Seeing that Do-hoon had fallen asleep, Sin kindly came over to cover him with a blanket. Seeing that Do-hoon grabbed her hand and confessed his feelings, what must he do to be worthy of Sin? Seeing the awkward atmosphere, Sin immediately turned away. Do-hoon saw that and packed his things to leave. Min Hyuk's secretary arrived at the location in the photo, because that day, Do-hoon had booked a party to propose, so the boss remembered very clearly. They went there together and took many souvenir photos. After confirming this, Min Hyuk angrily grabbed Do-hoon's collar, saying he would definitely expose Do-hoon's face. Sin didn't know that Do-hoon was the real culprit, so she even helped this bastard. The next day, Min Hyuk came to find Yu Young and told her to tell the truth, but she insisted on admitting her guilt. To protect Do-hoon, she didn't regret her own life. Yu Young said she hoped Min Hyuk would forgive her. As for the debt, she would pay it off gradually. Min Hyuk thought maybe she had some heartache, so she decided to give her more time. Thanks to a friend, she found a job at a restaurant, but she didn't know that the owner of this place was Min and Hyuk. He didn't want Yu Young to feel inconvenienced. He only dared to stand outside and observe. Knowing that Yu Young worked at Min Hyuk's restaurant, Do-hoon was worried that the two would get close and Yu Young would tell the truth. So he went to find Yu Young and told her to quit job. But because finding a job was not easy, Yu Young decided to ignore it. Today suddenly a police officer came to find Yu Young. She was suspected of fabricating a trademark. Knowing that she had a criminal record, the manager didn't want trouble, so fired her. On this site, Min Hyuk discovered that Do-hoon had secretly deleted the video. He told the staff that if they met Do-hoon, they would intentionally say that as long as it was a recording from the past 5 years, it could be restored to its original state. Indeed, Do-hoon fell into the trap. While there was no one there, he secretly broke into the surveillance room to clean up the recorded data in the trash. At this time, Min Hyuk also arrived. Do-hoon discovered now that he was trapped. He quickly explained that he needed the data for tomorrow's meeting, but Min Hyuk found it funny. Min Hyuk directly stabbed his black heart. No matter what secrets Do-hoon was hiding, Hyuk will also find out. Do-hoon tried to calmly say that he is completely pure, so he is not afraid of anything. After finding out where Yu Young had moved to, Min Hyuk immediately came to find her. He asked Yu Young to return to work to pay off her debt. Yu Young said that she would earn money and send it to him regularly. Seeing that she was so stubborn, Min Hyuk threatened that if she did not listen, he would sell her father's bakery. It was Yu Young's most valuable possession, so in the end she had to listen to him and return. The next morning, Yu Young returned to work. All her colleagues were very upset about this. They gossip about her. Yu Young ignored those words and tried to work. Today, the restaurant had a new dish tasting session. The guests included Se Yeon and Do-hoon. Knowing this, Min Hyuk quickly ran to the restaurant and asked Yu Young to leave. But she was not an irresponsible person, so she decided to continue working. When they met, Se Yeon was very upset. She said sarcastically to Yu Young. Seeing that Min Hyuk ran to help her, Do-hoon also went to meet Yu Young privately. He thought that Yu Young was trying to embarrass him. Yu Young explained that she worked here to repay Min Hyuk's debt. Do-hoon not only did not understand her suffering, but also said that every time he met Yu Young, he was tired to the point of being sick. Because of him, she had to endure so many misfortunes. Yet he let go of cruel words to her. Yu Young now knew his true face. She left disappointed, watching Min Hyuk bring Yu Young here to work and how he stood up to protect her. This made Se Yeon very uncomfortable. Min Hyuk did not explain anything. He said that the two people's marriage was just a contract, so Se Yeon should not interfere in his affairs. When she was tired, Yu Young took out her father's shirt to comfort herself. She happened to see a purchase receipt on the day he passed away. Yu Young rushed to that place. The shop owner confirmed that he often came here to buy cakes, and that day she saw Do-hoon come to pick him up. Knowing what happened yesterday made Yoo-young lose face. Min Hyuk asked her to come work at his house. The cleaning job was very simple. Min Hyuk's sister also liked her cooking skills. After finishing work, Yoo-young suggested going back to the restaurant to work, wanting Yoo-young to have time to rest, so he made an excuse to want to know the ending of this novel, and asked Yoo-young to read it to summarize it for him. Yoo-young had to do as he said. On this side, Do-hoon was also trying to flirt with Se-yeon, but it wasn't easy. Se-yeon only considered him a friend. The next day, Yoo-young went to Min Hyuk's house to work. She accidentally saw Min Hyuk's signature. Only then did Yoo-young know that the day she fainted, it was Min Hyuk who took her to the hospital and paid the hospital fees, not Do-hoon. At this time, Min Hyuk also woke up. Yoo-young was confused and explained that he only took the blanket to take to the laundry. After finishing work, Yoo-young said that she would return to the restaurant tomorrow. She didn't want her colleagues to work hard because of her. When she returned home, Hae-jin was already waiting. Hae-jin couldn't sleep while knowing that because her son died, she promised that she would live in remorse for the rest of her life. At this time, Do-hoon also came to find Yoo-young. He suspected that Yoo-young had said something to Min Hyuk because Min Hyuk was reinvestigating the case. At this point, he couldn't bear it anymore. He said that Yoo-young was the one driving and shied away from all responsibility. Yoo-young did not expect that the person he sacrificed would now become like this. So she also wanted to confirm one thing. Was Do-hoon by her father's side the day he died? Do-hoon frantically explained that perhaps the landlady had seen wrongly. When Do-hoon left, Hae-jin also said that person who asked her to separate Sand and Yoo-young was him. Yoo-young was completely devastated when she learned this truth. She sadly went to the bakery and discovered that there was CCTV. So the next morning, Sister Hera took her to the police station. Claiming that the car was broken, she would ask to check the CCTV recording that day. After seeing Do-hoon appear in the recording, Yoo-young completely collapsed. Not expecting that the person she gave up everything to protect was the one who killed her son and father and returned home. Yoo-young regretted and blamed herself. Min Hyuk came to comfort her. When he lost the person he loved, he used revenge and hatred as an excuse to continue living. He hoped Yoo-young would follow his lead to be able to get over it, and he promised that he would help her take revenge on Do-hoon if she told the truth that day. But Yoo-young did not want to bring up the old story again. The next day Yoo-young came to find Do-hoon, but he bluntly called the security guard to drag her away. Yoo-young did not give up. When Do-hoon left, she rushed in front of his car. She said the recording she saw. Do-hoon was not afraid at all. He admitted her father was too annoying and blamed Yoo-young for not taking good care of him. She should have taken him to a nursing home. Yoo-young angrily asked Do-hoon to stop the car, but he plotted something. He drive faster. The two of them struggled with the steering wheel until an accident almost happened. Only then did Do-hoon stop. She pulled Do-hoon out and forced him to kneel down and apologize to her father, the person who had always treated Do-hoon like his own son. Do-hoon angrily shouted that he had no regrets, and what she had was not enough evidence to incriminate him. Yoo-young said that she would drag him down at all costs, causing him to lose everything and have to kneel down and beg for forgiveness. At this time, the news of Min Hyuk's father being in the US for surgery was revealed, causing the group's stock to decline. Min Hyuk was very angry when he heard about this from the press. The secretary said that this was a request from the chairman, and he hoped Min Hyuk would be strong to lead the company. Without the chairman here, Do-hoon did not hold back. He deliberately leaked company documents. Min Hyuk was very angry, but because there was no evidence, he couldn't do anything to this guy. Min Hyuk did not expect that the person behind the strings was Se-yeon. She wanted to do that so that Min Hyuk would beg her for help. On this side, Yoo-young is researching new sauce recipes day and night so that she can help Min Hyuk get an investment contract for the restaurant because, since was little, she has been making salad sauce with her father, so she has a lot of experience. Min Hyuk was very grateful. At this weak moment, he was fortunate to have her to rely on. The next morning there was news that the recording had been recovered. Do-hoon rushed to check. At time, Min Hyuk was already waiting. He opened it up for Do-hoon to see. The recording proved that Do-hoon was the one driving, but Do-hoon still boldly said this scene was not filmed near the case. so it cannot prove anything. Seeing his frantic attitude and leaving, Min Hyuk was very satisfied. While Do-hoon was angry and went to Yoo-young to scold, he said that she never asked Yoo-young to confess his crime for him. It was all her own volition. So don't bring up the past to torment him. In Yoo-young's eyes, now there was only resentment. She advised him, try to enjoy while you can, because she will be the one to drag him to hell. Tonight Sun also asked Do-hoon to stop President Yang from signing a contract with Min Hyuk at all costs. The next morning, when Min Hyuk and Yoo-young came here and see, Do-hoon came first after trying the restaurant's new sauce. President Yang was very satisfied, but Do-hoon teased about the bad things, seeing that there was no internal unity. Chairman Yang was dissatisfied. She told everyone to go home first and she would make a decision later. Coincidentally, today was Min Hyuk's birthday. Yoo-young was preparing to make him a cake. Everyone is here, also saying happy birthday to him. Although everything was very simple for Min Hyuk, this was the warmest birthday party he had ever had. The next morning, Yoo-young brought a box of cakes with new sauce to give to President Yang. Last night, her restaurant received a request to serve at home. That person was none other than Se-yeon. She organized a birthday party for Min Hyuk. Se-yeon did it to annoy him. Seeing that Yoo-young suffered a lot of pent-up anger, Min Hyuk asked her to leave. He also thanked her for the box of cakes. Thanks to it, Chairman Yang agreed to sign the contract. Upon hearing this, Yoo-young happily congratulated Min Hyuk. This scene was seen by Se-yeon. Se-yeon intentionally sarcastically said that Yoo-young had killed Ji-ha. Although very upset, Yoo-young did not explain anything and decided to leave. Min Hyuk also quickly chased after her, and Se-yeon was extremely angry. Se-yeon had known Min Hyuk since childhood, and she knew the way Min Hyuk looked. Yoo-young is the eyes of a lover. It is true that when he brought Yoo-young home, Min Hyuk could not hide his emotions and went to kiss her. Yoo-young tried to resist at first, but later she also accepted that kiss. The next morning when he met Yoo-young, she told Min Hyuk to forget about yesterday. But Min Hyuk said that what he did yesterday was not a mistake. After work, Yoo-young came to see her former colleague at the toll booth and asked her to help her take a photo of Do-hoon's car that came here on the day her father had an accident. Fortunately, the surgery went smoothly, and President Han also returned to Korea. After hearing about Min Hyuk's affair with Yoo-young, he asked his assistant to bring Yoo-young to meet him. He thanked Yoo-young for helping Min Hyuk sign the contract, but that's all. He didn't want Yoo-young to hang out with Min Hyuk again, because his son will marry Se-yeon. Seeing Yoo-young being humiliated by everyone, Min Hyuk angrily pulled her up. Yoo-young was embarrassed and apologized to everyone and left. Min Hyuk also chased after her, but Yoo-young definitely wouldn't open the door for him. Min Hyuk said that I won't repeat the mistakes of the past. No matter what, he will protect Yoo-young. But Yoo-young doesn't want that. She wanted to forget the past. But every time she saw Min Hyuk, that memory reappeared and tormented her. If it hadn't happened that day, maybe Min Hyuk would have been happy with his wife and children. Seeing Yoo-young like that, Min Hyuk was also very heartbroken. He said that he would leave, and Yoo-young, don't torment yourself anymore. The next morning, Yoo-young went to the toll booth to get documents. Do-hoon indeed took her father out of town. Then he came back alone. Yoo-young angrily goes to the company to find Do-hoon, but these things still didn't scare him. Do-hoon challenged Yoo-young and said that she wouldn't get what she wanted. At night, when Yoo-young returned, Min Hyuk was waiting, with hurt and resentment in her heart. Yoo-young also agreed to go for a walk with Min Hyuk. Only him now can make her mind at peace again. She greedily wants to be with Min Hyuk, even if it is only for a short time. She is willing. After the recent scandals, the company needs someone to stand trial, and Secretary Kim volunteered to do it. Before going to court, he went to see Min Hyuk. Actually, the chairman did not completely trust Do-hoon from the beginning. He had collected documents about this guy. Secretary Kim assigned it for Min Hyuk. When necessary, take it out to use. When Min Hyuk checked, he discovered that Se-yeon and Do-hoon had been cooperate for a long time. Min Hyuk was angry and came to find Se-yeon. She did not deny about that. Se-yeon said, everything she did was because she loved him. Se-yeon wanted Min Hyuk to know that only with her, He had everything. But Min Hyuk bluntly apologized and rejected Seon's feelings. At this time Yoo Young also went to Do-hoon's restaurant. Even though Do-hoon's mother refused, she insisted on going in. Yoo Young put down the documents she had prepared in advance. When she was about to tell everything, Do-hoon appeared. He quickly pulled Yoo Young out. Then Do-hoon threatened her with harsh words. But now she is no longer the weak idiot of the past. Finally Yoo Young made an appointment to meet Do-hoon, again in court. The next morning, Min Hyuk also brought documents to threaten Do-hoon. It turned out that since Do-hoon joined his company to work, Do-hoon had done a lot of illegal things. Min Hyuk gave Do-hoon a chance to turn around and redeem himself. But Do-hoon did not regret it at all. He came to find Seon and the two of them came up with a reckless plan. After a tiring day, Min Hyuk came again, looking for Yoo Young. Just being quiet together, the storms in their hearts all disappeared. Based on the documents Yoo Young left behind, Do-hoon's father asked his son about what happened. He did not expect Do-hoon became such a cruel person. He advised his son to turn back. But now Do-hoon was blind and no longer listened to his advice. Even though he said that now Do-hoon was really scared, he came to find Yoo Young knelt down and apologized. Yoo Young knew that Do-hoon was unapologetic. He was just afraid of losing what he had. Seeing that Hera also poured water and chased Do-hoon away, the next morning, Yoo Young went to court to submit evidence, and Do-hoon came to threaten Min Hyuk. He was holding documents from Min Hyuk's company, embezzling public funds. Do-hoon also kept the phone so Yoo Young could hear everything. Do-hoon then offered to exchange to Yoo Young, but Min Hyuk told her to trust him and do what she had prepared. Yoo Young chose to believe Min Hyuk, knowing Se Hyeon helped Do-hoon. Min Hyuk was very disappointed. He said that he would annul his marriage with Se Hyeon, but President Han did not agree to that. With the current situation, only marrying Se Hyeon can save everything. The next day, Yoo Young and Do-hoon were invited to confront each other. Do-hoon still stubbornly denied the evidence that Yoo Young gave. When he went out, his former colleague advised Do-hoon not to underestimate Min Hyuk because he might digging his own grave. The news station also reported that Min Hyuk had accused Do-hoon of being the one who embezzled 6 billion won from the company. So it turned out that Secretary Kim and Min Hyuk had planned this in advance. Min Hyuk once gave Do-hoon a chance, but he didn't take it. Min Hyuk wanted Do-hoon to know that if he climbs high, he will fall painfully. However, Min Hyuk's company still cannot avoid losses. The company's stock price will slide, makes investors turn away from them. At this rate, they will be on the brink of bankruptcy. Chairman Han begs his son to save this company, the place that he and Min Hyuk, deceased mother, spent their youth building, and only marrying Seon can save everything. Min Hyuk's stepmother also made an appointment to meet Yoo Young and asked Yoo Young to let go of him. If she did so, Min Hyuk would not lose his career. The next morning, Yoo Young arranged to meet Min Hyuk. Even though they didn't say it, they both knew in their hearts that today was their last day together. They both went to the suburbs, doing things together that they had never done before. The two decided to spend the entire day together. Min Hyuk did not run away or avoid. He chose to kiss Yoo Young's ugly scar just by action. Both of them understood the other person's sincerity. The next morning, when Min Hyuk woke up, Yoo Young had left first. Even though he loved Yoo Young very much, he couldn't keep her by his side. He quietly went to the wedding photo shoot with Seon. Yoo Young also came to the restaurant, asked for leave from work. On this side, the press came to find Do-hoon's parents to ask about the money he had embezzled. Yoo Young also came here. She bluntly exposed Do-hoon's true face to stop her talking about this with the press. Do-hoon's mother told the truth that San was still alive. Actually, she had forged a death certificate for Seon. The boy is currently being adopted by a kind family. Do-hoon also didn't know about this. She did it so that Do-hoon and Yoo Young could cut off their relationship with each other. Seeing that she loved her son so much but separated Yoo Young and her son, Yoo Young was very angry. She asked this woman to return the child to her. The next morning, Yoo Young went to see San, but the boy no longer recognized his mother. She cried and scolded. Do-hoon was also very sad to see this scene. When he returned home, The police arrested his mother on charges of forging death certificate for the living. At the detention center she begged Yoo-young to spare Do-hoon. She thought that if she told the truth that San was still alive, Yoo-young would be grateful and forget everything. But Yoo-young was no longer innocent as ever. She would let this woman experience the suffering her father had to go through. San's adoptive mother also came to beg Yoo-young to let her take care of San. She couldn't live without this baby. Now San is too young to understand everything. She promised that when San is older, she will explain everything to San. Yoo-young entered the house and saw that they were taking good care of San. At this time San also came home from school and saw his mother crying. San spoke up to protect her and chased Yoo-young away. As a longtime friend, Min Hyuk asked Se-yeon if she felt happy until now. In fact, even though she had achieved what she wanted, Se-yeon felt very miserable, seeing that Min Hyuk came and comforted her. The next day, Yoo-young visited San again. She introduced herself as San's aunt. Seeing that San no longer hated her, Do-hoon could only stand outside and watch his son. By now, Do-hoon also knew that he had missing the most wonderful things in life. Do-hoon regretfully scolded himself and sincerely apologized to Yoo-young. Hera blamed Yoo-young for making such a stupid decision. Yoo-young said that he did not give up San, but she can't force San to live with her. The most important thing is that San is happy. When was away, San cried for a whole week. Now she can't let San go through that feeling again. The next day, Se-yeon also decided to cancel the marriage. She will go abroad to continue studying drawing and pursue her dream. Min Hyuk also decided to go to an overseas branch to study and develop the company. Before leaving, he cleared the debts and returned the bakery to Yoo-young. After hearing the news, Yoo-young rushed to the airport, but she didn't say anything or get in Min Hyuk's way. The two just silently walked past each other. Se-yeon also came to say goodbye to Do-hoon before leaving. She thanked Do-hoon for always standing by her side and hoped he could continue to try to live well. Do-hoon's trial officially took place. He had admitted all the crimes. Justice may come late but will definitely come. Do-hoon also has to pay for the crimes he committed. Just because of greed, he missed out on a lot of good things. The verdict: the law may be light, but Do-hoon had to pay the price with the sentence in his conscience. 5 years later, Yoo-young restored the bakery. Min Hyuk also returned. It is certain that the two will be together. Continue drawing the beautiful future ahead. The movie is over. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye and see you in the next videos.